Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Universally Epic Podcast, your go-to Universal Orlando trip planning podcast. I'm Jim Klein, along with Taylor Franklin. We're your hosts and travel agents for all things Universal. On today's show, we unlock Universal Epic Universe with our friend and host of the Unlocking Universal podcast, Holli Carter. Hey, Holli, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
We're going to pretend like we haven't done this like 18 times already.
Take 4. I'll pull back the curtain. Don't worry, guys. This is take 4.
Yeah. We actually started this, what 30 minutes ago?
Just about.
It was 25 minutes ago we started, and this is where we're at right now. So, well, okay. So let's get into it. So Holli had the pleasure of checking out Epic Universe during the preview time here. And we're just gonna basically ask you a bunch of questions because we're interested and see how you liked it and kind of some touring things. And so let's start with just like an overview. I know you had mentioned on our like second or third take that you got to see Celestial Park and Dark Universe. So like we're gonna focus on those this episode, and I'm sure you're gonna be back there soon. And we'll have you on again to go over everything else if we don't get down there in time. So, all right. So, what'd you think? Like, let's start there. Like, how was your first impressions of the park?
It was cool. Okay, we're done. No.
It was epic.
Right. Stop the clock.
Yeah. So, like a lot of us, I've been waiting for this park since 2019, and it was on, it was off, it's on again. I was fully prepared to like be overwhelmed when I walked through the Kronos. But I have to tell you, I was overwhelmed. I did not cry. I felt so chill walking in there. This was a theme park experience that I have never had before in my life. It was, first of all, it's visually appealing from the parking lot. From like when you first get out and you start walking toward the main gates, it's beautiful. And it's not just because it's new. It is. There are flowers everywhere. Even even the service dog relief area is beautiful. I took pictures of it. It's really really cute. I mean, they've got room. It's just lovely. Wide, like bleached walkways, and they're winding. It's not harsh. It's not stark. It looks like it's very well thought out, and I guess that's something we'll have to wait and hear a little bit more about later on. Is the like the ride share drop off, and if you're dropping off someone, that's you're not ride share, but you're just like dropping your kid off or whatever. There's 3 different loops, so it's not just one area. So we have a huge line of cars. It looks like it's going to run very well, but again, I don't know. Yeah, it was a nice experience from the very beginning.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great to hear.
Sorry, I guess I'll start with my first question. What's the parking situation like? Is it a parking garage? Is it just like a parking lot, or
it's a huge parking lot. They have tons of the handicap parking right up front, and then the way I think it is it looks to be that the prime parking, because they have the regular parking, and then the prime parking looks to be covered. Which, because at first I was like, what the heck is that? But it's right behind the handicap parking, which is in the existing garages. It goes the handicap parking, then the prime parking, or that's what it's called, right? Prime parking. So I think that those are covered because, I mean, you're just out there baking in the heat. So who knows if eventually, like with the studios, I mean, that used to be a flat parking lot. So, and now it's, I believe, the largest parking structure in the United States. So...
Oh,
so we'll see.
That's crazy. That is crazy to think that.
Yeah.
So, do you have a cost for the parking?
I did not. I meant to take a picture of it when I went through, and I didn't. I would assume it's going to be the same as the other parking section, because someone could park there and then hop a bus and come over. So I don't think it was any different. So.
And were you able to check out the bus loop over there?
So it's so pretty. Everything's right there, but the way they have it the trees and the grass and the walkways winding, nothing seems like it's like right in your face. So when you are parking and you're facing like the front of the what would be where your entrance to the park is, the parking is here and it goes way around this way, and that's where the loops are for drop off. Well, the buses are over. You can't see my
No.
office, but they're over kind of off to the left as you would be walking toward the main entrance. But they're kind of out and around a corner, so it's not like over at City Walk where you can kind of see the whole thing and it's just a transportation center. You don't really see it, so
Gotcha.
it looked
Okay.
really nice.
All
Okay.
right. So when you got into Celestial Park, okay, so you walk through the Chronos, you get into Celestial Park. What's the first thing you went to? What'd you do first?
The first thing I did was, so as you're walking up to the main entrance, and then once you pass through the Chronos, it's raised. So, and there are these, even the pavement has designs in it, and there'll be these like big circles. I felt compelled to stand in those circles and do like a 360 with my iPhone and take like video. I did that. That's the very first thing I did. Not even that it would be useful for anyone, but it was so expansive, and to be able to take it all in and be raised up like that, it was really really cool to be able to see that. So you walk through the Chronos, and then flanked on both sides, you've got your VIP services, guest services. There's bathrooms right there, right by the front. But
Perfect.
there's on the left side, there's a huge, that would be probably your main exit store. And you have to forgive me, I can't
Okay.
remember the name of it. And then on the right hand side, there is another store, not quite as big, but super, super cute. And it also has like a whole Christmas section. Actually, it has a signage, and you would think it's a different store, but it's really not. It's all one big store. Even the Starbucks is themed out. It just, so I kind of took that platform in, which I think a lot of people probably will, because you've got the big statues there. What is it, Apollo, and is it Athena, the other one? You got one at each end of the park, and it's a lot. It's a lot for your eyes to take in. There's smells, the sights, the sound of the water. So is even though it was so much when I first walked through there, it was very chill at the same time. And I know that doesn't really track. You have to experience it, I think.
Yeah, so I saw on your stories you had mentioned like the water features and how calming it was. So it seems as though they succeeded in that park like setting, right?
I
Is
would
that
say
like
so. I was wondering how they were going to do it, and if it was just going to be more of a, we're going to say this and that's what it is. But it's like, when you walk in, it's beautiful. You really could go in there and hang out. There is seating everywhere. There's the molded concrete seating, which sounds harsh and everything, but it's very beautiful because it's not really straight. It curves around like some of the the garden areas, the flowers and the different things. So many places to sit and just chill and take it in. It's so silly to say they put the park back in theme park, but they really did.
yeah, that's
It's
great.
crazy.
Now you were there, you said you started your day at like noon.
I
Is
did.
that
Yeah,
right?
they opened at 11. I got there at noon because I wanted to be able to kind of walk in on my own
Okay.
without
Yep.
like a ton of people.
Yeah, and so walking in like an hour later, it was kind of like no problems with that.
No
How was
problem.
security?
It was
Security was fine.
it was super chill. Yeah, I mean there were people coming and going, but they're fully using the photo validation now, and it's fast. And I'm already in their
That,
system, so I don't. It was even faster for me because I just looked at the thing. They didn't have to like take the initial picture and do it, and I didn't have to like pull out my ID for my ticket or anything because
oh,
it's already
nice.
in there. But they're using. I saw them using it. I mean, all through the park at different places, the lockers and Express. They were using it there.
I guess I one of my questions was, I guess going into it, right, you don't have to go through City Walk. So do they have like the big metal detectors and everything outside of?
Yeah, before you, it's ahead of the Chronos, like way out. It's doesn't
Okay.
mess with the visual, like it doesn't mess
Okay.
anything up when you're going through it. And I always set off the ones at Universal. Always. I never at the airport, every once in a while at Disney, always at Universal. So,
It's funny.
My
So what
knee
keeps
brace sets off the one at Universal.
well, I don't have
Every
a knee
time.
brace, but I have 2 titanium hips, so
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So that makes
Those metal
sense.
detectors are sensitive.
yeah, they're very sensitive. And they're like, "Take everything out of your pockets." I'm like, "I don't have pockets." Well, that's right where your pocket. I don't have pockets. That's my hip.
That is my hip.
I
Yeah.
can show you the scar.
That's so funny. Okay, so you get in, you do your 360
Mhm.
shoot. Where do you head to first? Like
I went to
what's
the right and went into that first store there. I would just kind of, it just drew me in. I had no intent. I thought I'm going to get there. I'm going to kind of walk through, but it sucked me in. And yeah, it was cool. It had a lot of the merch that we have seen, but also a lot of things that we haven't seen yet. And I took some videos. The little Christmas section of the store is very, very cute. And it had some really beautiful ornaments. So I'm kind of be curious because there's a section there set up with a desk if they're going to be personalizing ornaments at some point.
Ooh.
If not,
okay?
it's a really big waste of that space. So
Could
it
be
was,
gift wrapping too.
I don't know if it's that big, but it was,
Ooh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and
How's
see.
the pin collecting situation there?
I was looking for like a grand opening pin and I did not find one. I did see some epic pins, but nothing that would be special to the grand opening. So that was kind of a bummer because I would have been like hoarding those. So,
Oh, that's a bummer, huh?
so that, yeah.
I was really hoping.
Yeah.
Look at that empty space up
I,
there. That all
that
of that
Another
is
one.
for Universal.
oh, it's,
Yeah,
well,
the bottom half of this is all Disney pins, and then the top half is all Universal
they
pins.
did have a lot of pins for sure. But, my sites were just on like grand opening type things and I didn't
Yeah.
see any.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we'll
That makes
see. Yeah. So I went in that store. I hung around in there for a little while. I had to look at the little dragons you can buy and the collectible stuff. They got the little mini monsters. Have you seen those, Taylor?
Yes.
Those are really cute. They're 25 or $24 though. They're this big. They're really, really cute. But I'm like, eh, eh, eh. The dragons that you buy in the eggs and you don't know what you're getting. They're like this big and they're $24.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
Those
saw I saw online that so my main thing that I want to eat at Epic Universe is that garlic pretzel from sorry, I keep thinking about it. But okay,
He's
so
been talking
here's
about this for weeks.
Burning
I
Blade
know.
Tavern.
No, but here my heart broke though the other day. So they supposedly Universal's like playing in this opening like soft opening phase. They're playing with pricing. So that thing was like $7.99 and now it's like $11.99.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so they're seeing. I'm assuming they're just going to check and see if people are going to buy it at 11.99. Guess what? I'm going to buy it at 11.99. Like
I
I'm going
bought
to
it
do
at 11.99 or whatever it was. So
it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
But
even know, but yeah, I was a
okay.
little surprised. Actually, I probably have a
so when
picture
you
of it.
say that about like the little figurines, I think a lot of this right now during the soft opening is like playing with pricing and seeing what they can get away with. Basically, like not get away with that. That's kind of negative. Like seeing what the market
Sure, Wood Bear.
is for certain. Yeah, exactly. And obviously, you want it the most without falling off a ledge,
Yeah,
right? So, but yeah, I was very upset. I was like, oh man, that's another $4. Not that it's you're on
That's
vacation, is whatever, but I was like, oh man, and I know everybody's going after it because they built it up so much. The thing looks amazing,
I had
and
it.
yeah.
so when we get
Was
to
it
Dark
amazing?
Universe, we're gonna yeah
Oh
yeah
yeah.
yeah yeah come on
No spoilers, no
No
spoilers, I'm
spoilers.
sorry.
yeah that sounds
Um, have you guys seen the dragon ceremony though? Like when you buy the little dragon that hatches out of the egg?
I didn't. Do they do
no
that just in Isle of Burke? Because I didn't see anything going on
Maybe.
in the regular store, and yeah, I didn't go to Isle of Burke as much as
It would make sense actually if
yeah,
they only did it in
yeah,
Isleberg. But it's so cute.
yeah.
There's like a
what
little
hatches.
ceremony.
Get out of here! My kids would go nuts for that.
I
Oh,
went nuts for it. I'm gonna get one.
Everybody loves that whole blind box experience, you know. So adults, kids, we all. I mean, we all do. I think it's just
yeah,
fun.
you're
I
right.
just
You're
like
right.
to feel like a princess. So
Oh, you are a princess.
All right, so you leave the store. Where are you going now?
I went right next door to Starbucks because it was so beautiful on the outside. I was like, well, what's it going to look like on the inside? Really nice looking on the inside too. They even have the destination mugs that say Universal Epic Universe, you know?
Oh,
So
nice,
I meant to go back to that because I don't want to carry that around.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cute. I have pictures. I'll send them to you if you want them.
nice,
Cute, cute,
nice.
cute.
Yeah, I always get a mug. I get a mug and an ornament every rotation.
They
Like
have some
that's usually what I
beautiful.
go.
They have several like Epic Universe ornaments, and then each world has their own ornaments, like a whole selection. We've all seen like the Harry Potter ones, but these other
Mhm.
ones are really, really cute, and there's some gorgeous, just Epic Universe ones. Very, very
That's awesome.
nice. So I guess I hung to the right the whole way, and then I came out on the left, which is probably how they want it done because when you first go in, it's not equal. Like it's you are a little bit more over to the right. So I don't know if that just I don't know, but
Gotcha.
it, it so I kind of walked around some of the fountains like right in the I kind of did this a little bit, but on the right hand side down to the carousel. I didn't go as far as Stardust Racers because that is almost the furthest thing up, the entrance to it anyway. And then I cut across in front of the big fountain area in front of Helios Grand, which again, another beautiful spot. If you've seen pictures of it, it's got the tiered, like, see, it's like it's cut out of the side of a hill. Beautiful.
Hmm.
People were just loud. I mean, the place had only been open for an hour, and people were just kind of lounging and hanging out and enjoying their day. It was
That's
lovely. I
great.
mean, you could just pull up a piece of turf and just have, it was great. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was like, oh, one other thing I did stop at and I talked to the ladies that do. Have you seen those postcards that they're making for free right now? And
Mm-mm.
it's like they do a picture or so they take a picture of you from behind and then they do it like you're standing in front of the Chronos. It's like a watercolor. Kelsey has
Oh,
one. I'll see if I can get her to post it or whatever. It really, really cute little keepsake. It's just a postcard size. They, of course, open at 11. She said they had to stop taking orders. I mean, it's free right now at 11:20. So if you're going down and you want to do that, you got to go right over to. And they're right kind of in front of that big fountain area, which is what made me think of it. Really, really nice ladies. They apparently they're there on contract and they've had their contract extended twice, and hopefully they'll stay because I think that's a really cool keepsake. And it's
that
actually
is a
really
really
neat to
cool
sit there and
keepsake.
watch them do it because they will take a whole board of those postcards. They all have like the Chronos in watercolor already on them, and then they look at the pictures they have and they go through and they're just it's really neat to watch them
Oh,
work in bulk like and yeah, so that's really cute. And then I turned went over to Dark Universe.
all right.
So
Here we go. Right. So you're there. You're in front of the portal. Like this is like everything you've been waiting for like what 5 years now.
yeah, I
So
did not walk up to it and just rush through.
yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
not. It was just like, okay, okay. 53,000 pictures. And the
So how's the
portal.
portal?
Oh my goodness. So, of course, we've seen them. We've seen everybody's pictures and videos and stuff. But to be there, the screen is absolutely gorgeous. It's even right up close. It's extremely sharp. It's beautiful. There, if you look around the edges of the portal on the very outside, there's detailing in there. And I would definitely recommend for anybody to go into any of the portals to stop and really look at them because they're beautiful. There's like this one, of course, it's got skulls and stuff. But when you're standing back and you're just kind of looking at it, you don't really see them. You've got to get up to it in order to see that. So when you go through the portal, I mean, there's some people they just trucking right through, and then there's people like it's amazing. There's like it's a purples and blues and stuff, and lightning bolts, and it was really really cool. So yeah, it was really really cool. So it took me a while to actually go through because I just had to stand in there because when you go into the lands you go in one way and you come out another. Nobody's going to stop you from coming back out through the portal, but the natural flow there's like a little side exit which is kind of how they want. I bet on busy days they'll kind of keep people from backtracking.
So is that next to the portal?
Yep. For Dark Universe, it's to the left of the portal as you're facing it, and you don't really notice it because it's not as obviously it's not as grand, and it's kind of set back, and yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was wondering how they did that. Because it felt like both ways of traffic going through that portal felt like a whole lot.
Right, like Galaxy's Edge. It's a lot. It's like water running backwards and stuff. So yeah, they don't want it to be that way. Now, Dark
Mhm.
Universe is the smallest of the lands, so I did want to check and see what that looked like in the other lands, and I went over on my way out. I stopped over by Isle of Burke, their portal, which actually was really cool because as they push people out when they were done, they finally closed it, and the gates that they closed, even the gates that they closed, were so cool looking. But it's the same thing. Theirs is on the right, and it's just kind of set back. So you might see people walking through that way. It doesn't take away from the portal itself, and I'm going to assume that it's that way with the other ones as well. It's very well thought out flow of traffic. So
Wait, hold on one second. So I don't know if me and Taylor both had like this. We're both like staring at you, like what? So they have gates that come down or close off the
yeah,
portals at the end of
Yeah.
the night.
yep.
That
Oh
is incredible.
God.
Hold on, I will find it.
That is
I was surprised to see it.
that wasn't even a thought in my head
Mine
until you
either.
just
Well, here's I can't say it's my theory because it's not. I've heard talk about this. So back when Epic was first spoken about, and its location is not a coincidence. It is spitting distance from the convention center. So having these four portaled worlds, they can close them off. They can rent out individual worlds and
unbelievable.
stuff like that.
That
So they'd have to have a physical barrier to keep people out, and they'll probably be using the photo validation for that too. Let me find it. I'll find it for you because it was one of my
that's
last
great.
pictures I took.
And that's such a like obviously when you talk about corporate events and stuff like that it makes sense because
Yeah.
imagine renting out like Isle of Burke for the night. That sounds amazing.
Well, I
That
mean, I
sounds
hope Epic is prepared for me to rent out Dark Universe for the rest of my life because I'm going to live there.
now. Do you
My
think
house
Dark
is going in
Universe?
there.
You think Dark Universe during HHN does that get anything more or no? It's just like it is what it is. It is right.
Oh well, hold on. I can't. Okay, I don't. Let's see if this shows good. So, So, oh well, it's much better when it's not going through this camera. But that is, can you see the gate?
Oh yeah. Okay. So it's
Oh my
like a
goodness.
circular thing in the middle.
Yeah, it's you see the red that kind of comes up to that circle, and it's
Mhm.
split in two. So, and they kind of bring it out.
That looks kind of cool too.
It is beautiful. I was very
Absolutely.
surprised, and I was there when they were closing it. So I was like, "Ooh, what is that?" So,
That's awesome.
um, as far as Halloween Horror Nights, and does it get more? Maybe. Does it need more? No. It's
Okay.
that land. Okay, so what does it say on the portal? It's alive. It's alive. All the lands, they have sayings above them. All the portals,
Mhm.
but Dark Universe is alive, and it's alive because of the Darkmoor residents that are out and about, and um, you know, people from Frankenstein Manor, or people townies, or people that are there but maybe shouldn't be there, people that are there to hunt the people that shouldn't be there. All this is going on. There's all kinds of backstories. Even the people that are standing outside of Das Steakhouse, they those are going to stay in character. I mean, unless you need to ask them a question, they're not going to like whatever. But very cool, very, very, very cool. All kinds of different characters, ones that you would recognize and ones that you wouldn't. But once you start to either hear them talking to somebody else or they will approach you too, they are what makes this land, this world.
That
it please, 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 Universal, don't ever cut that, because that it is beautiful. The theming of it, of the physical theming of the land itself, is stunning from the moment you step through the portal. But it's the people in there, the people, the monsters, the monster hunters, all of them. That's what really makes it. I was in that land, that world. Why do I keep saying land? Um, most of the day. So once I got in there, and actually, it took me an hour and a half to make my way through Celestial Park, and I didn't even go through all of Celestial Park, just because I was taking my time. I would, stop and smell the flowers. That flower smell will hit you in the face, and I thought, oh, that's going to be. I have my husband calls a super sniffer, and I thought it's going to be overwhelming. It was lovely. I'm backtracking on that, but um, so it would have been 1:30, but by the time I got into Dark Universe, I stayed in there. I didn't try. I was like, I'm going to stay in here. All of a sudden, it was like after 7, and I'm like, maybe I'll go over and ride Stardust Racers or something. There was that much there to look at, to see. Could you just go in there, hit the rides, and get out? Absolutely, but you're missing so much if you do that. There is literally detail everywhere.
Were you able to experience any of the rides in?
I did not ride Monsters Unchained once without my husband. I rode it 5 times without him.
So
how was Brian after that? Did you tell him?
I told him. I said, honey, I did not ride it once without you. I rode it 5 times. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I took pictures of like the wait times, and then I ran my little stopwatch to see. And of course, I'm taking my even if you get stuck in that queue, you're not going to be bored. There's so much going on in that queue. I have never. Now, I did not go into the Wizarding World yet, but that is the most complex, immersively themed queue I have ever seen. Even Spider-Man's a lot of fun, right? It's got lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff to look at. This one, it's even more so. There are 2 what I would call pre-shows. Plus, when you're weaving through different rooms and stuff, there's all kinds of layers of stuff to look at, and noises and there, and stuff going on. It was amazing. It said 40 minutes, and I think it took like 28, and that was with me taking my time and go on ahead of me. I'm taking a picture or whatever. So it was fine. Yeah. They did have a single rider line. So I went through the queue fully twice, and then I did the single rider line the other 3 times. So
nice. So, and does it live up to the hype? I guess that's the big question, right?
Here's the funny thing. The first time I went through it,
the Universally Epic Podcast is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, a Universal you preferred travel agency. If you're looking to plan your next Universal Orlando vacation, let's do it together. As certified Universal specialists, we can help guide you through the planning process with helpful tips and tricks along the way. The best part, all our travel planning services are free to you.
When you book your Universal Orlando vacation with us, you qualify for an exclusive booking bonus offer from the Magic for Less Travel, a $25 Universal gift card for all vacation packages over $2,500. Ready to start planning? Email the podcast at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com and start planning your next epic Universal vacation today.
I was like, that's it? But I'm like, wait a minute. Now let me back up. Can I compare that to anything else? And then I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, okay. So I need to go on it again, and I need to go through the queue again. And that's what I did. And the second time, I think it's because the story, I missed a part of the story in the beginning. So I was a little like, what the heck is going on? And it was a lot of cool things, but I wasn't connecting them. Once I connected them, I fell in love with it. It is amazing. And you have heard people say that you don't know sometimes what's screen and what's animatronic. There's one that I watched all 5 times that I still don't know if it's a screen or an animatronic. And I kind of don't want to know. I kind of don't care. It's just, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone. Taylor, the creature portion of it is awesome. It's awesome. Um,
Representation for my boy.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I love Creature from Black Lagoon. It's amazing. So yeah, the story, which that's not giving any of it away because I'm sure it's out there. It's just I'm trying to be careful about spoilers until I went. Like I'm watching. I didn't want to hearing people talk about the the different things in the worlds and the foods and stuff. Fine, but I didn't want to chance any like ride throughs or which I know some people
Yeah.
are illegally taking them and stuff. So, but yeah, so it's like Victoria Frankenstein. The one that she has a problem with is Dracula. She's finally caught him, and here you get to go watch him be, all restrained, and then something goes wrong. He gets loose, creates havoc, blah blah blah. I missed that. I was like, instead of paying attention, I'm like trying to figure out what the heck just happened. But now I know, and now it makes perfect sense. So, yeah, these animatronics are amazing. Again, it's the whole time you're in the queue, you're kind of in the story, or not necessarily the story of the ride, but the story of Frankenstein Manor and her work and Igor's role. And there's even like video, this one room that you go through. It reminds me of the room in Spider-Man where there's the big screen up front and you kind of weave back and forth. And it shows it's like found footage almost looking of Igor when he's out catching all these different monsters that she has trapped. So
I love that.
it's really cool. Igor's funny as heck. I didn't get to meet him in person. I have a business proposition for him, so that's got to happen at some point.
Hmm.
Um,
He has to be our real estate agent.
exactly, exactly. So, but yeah, no, yeah, I would have gone on it more times. Except I was like, well, I'm here. I'm gonna do Curse of the Werewolf, which I was a little like, I don't know, because it's spinny, and I'm like, but it's not gonna kill me, right? Once is not gonna hurt me. And so I wanted to make sure I was in line for that before 9 o'clock when they shut everything down. And so I did that. I probably could have gone on Monsters Unleashed a couple more times. The shortest time, because I'm timing it, was 3 minutes and 48 seconds from the time I walked into the castle to I was getting on the ride. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
using
That
single
was single
rider.
rider.
Yep,
Yeah, single rider.
yep.
So how was Curse of the Werewolf? Like,
It's
what'd
not
you
for me.
think? Okay.
I don't want to say. I mean, I wouldn't say anything bad about it, but I think I will go on it at least once more, maybe more. I have heard people say that it's more fun when it spins a lot. My car did not spin a lot. I thought it was more like a Crazy Mouse coaster. I think some of it I just had it wrong. It's one of those where it goes up and then comes back and then go like it's trying to build up momentum and then it finally goes around and it's done. Wicked short.
Oh, okay.
Really
Okay.
I
really
couldn't
short.
hear it
Don't
was
get in that
short.
line if it's long. There's not a lot going on in it and
Yeah,
you
because
know,
it doesn't really hold all that many people, right? Like the
the
actual.
queue, yeah, it didn't seem very long, or very
Okay.
large, I should say. So it was down most of the day yesterday when I was
Okay.
there. And then I was like, that's fine because if I want to ride it, I'm going to ride it at night because you're kind of going into Maleva's tent and it looks way cooler at night because they have
Okay.
the broken roof and the full moon and all that. And you miss that. I went up in the queue to look around when they were down. And yeah, you don't get to see any of that if you don't go at night. So I would definitely recommend.
And then before you had said that you had the garlic pretzel.
I did. Yeah, I
So,
did. I went over to the Burning Blade Tavern
okay. So
and
how was it inside the Burning Blade?
it's so cool in there. So when I walked in there, it just looks like a tavern. It just looks like a tavern. There's like this I don't know if it's supposed to be a tree or whatever it is in the middle with like a counter around, but it's wood, of course. And people standing around it and then there's tables and stuff and there's tables over here. You look and you're like, "Oh, this isn't going to hold very many people. What are they going to do?" And there was quite a few people in there, but they have a little more seating outside. But there was a ton of people in there and there were monster hunters in there talking. I was like, this was really cool. I'm going to say the word cool. I need to get my thesaurus out and come up with some better words. So if you're going to order drinks, you go right into the Burning Blade and you order your drinks at that counter. if you want any of the bites, you're going to mobile order that. And then you get them around the side, which you can either go through the burning blade and go out the side, or you can go around the outside of it. And you don't even have to go inside if you don't want to be around the busy stuff. But what's really cool about inside the tavern is all the, because this is where the monster hunters hang out, all the trophies that they have on the wall. And then there's a very famous one they would call Miley Siren. So
Pretty good.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's neat, and the hunters are in there. They will tell you stories about each of the ones on the wall, and like what they are, who caught it, all the stuff. And I'm sure they tell different stories or whatever. But the one lady that was in there for the bulk of the time when I was in there, she was a riot. She just hello and any monsters around, and people are like nope, and she's like you're welcome, and it just very very. And she was going up to individual people. She came up to me. She's like, "You're traveling alone, I see." I'm like, "Yes, I am today. I don't worry about you." Just awesome. Just even watching other people having the interactions and stuff, really really good. So yeah, the pretzel was good. It was good.
Nice. Did you eat anything else while you were in the park, or
I had lunch at Das Steakhouse,
okay?
and
How was that?
it was so good. Who goes to a theme park and orders freaking meatloaf? This girl. Why? That's crazy. It was so. It was like a mushroom and brisket meatloaf. Honest, it was lovely. The whole thing was very good, and I ordered the labata cotta. Did you see the? It's a panna cotta, but it's like a brain shaped and then raspberry stuff. So like a lobotomy. I wanted it for the pictures. It was amazing. It was very. I can't speak highly enough of the food in there. So it's all the fast casual. So what you're going to do is you go in and you sit at the table, and then there's a QR code on the table. You can either scan that or you can just pull up your Universal app and go right into the order, into the restaurant and order it, and then it'll have you. It's like a Minion Cafe. You put in your table
Yeah, I was
number.
about to say
Yep.
it's like our
Yeah.
favorite place.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this place is huge compared to Minion Cafe, and it's dark, and there are dead vampires on the wall. There's stakes. I mean, multiple stakes through the wall.
Did you get pictures of the inside of it?
Tons of pictures. Tons of pictures. I actually put a lot of them in the albums earlier today.
Oh, I
The
was just in
group
there
albums.
today, so I didn't scroll down that far, but yeah.
Put them in
Excuse
my
me.
phone.
I put like hundreds of pictures and videos and stuff in.
Good. I'll put some up in the on the YouTube channel.
In the that place is so photogenic. Like I look like a dang rock star with the pictures. But if you look closely at like some of the chandeliers, some of them have like bats, not real bat. Like it's not supposed to be real bats, and I'd say that for a specific reason. It's like raw iron bats, but some of them have like skulls, which are supposed to be real skulls. Which it's just it's lovely in there, and like every few minutes the power will and it gets really like red in there. I'm sorry, but this is gonna freak kids out like crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now, I have always maintained that Dark Universe is going to be scarier than Universal says. And I don't mean it's like Horror Nights without the jump scares. So it's wonderful. I saw kids in there. I also I watched this little probably I don't even know, I'm not good at age. I don't know. 7, 8-year-old, I don't know. Come in. Nope, right back out. he didn't even say I don't want to be here. He just turned around and started going back out. But I saw some kids in there too. But granted, I had 2 of my 3 went to Horror Nights before they turned 10. So I mean, every kid's different. So, but the creepy factor there.
Go to HHN.
The creepy factor there is real. I mean, even the Invisible Man, he's like perpetually annoyed with everyone. That's aggressive for kids. But that restaurant, if you got a kid that's sensitive at all, that is not the place to go. Like, you could go into Darkmoor, maybe go over to DeLacy's cottage or even the Burning Blade or whatever if you know, but that restaurant, I have never ever seen a restaurant so highly themed.
That's great.
Even the Coke freestyle machines are, they blend in. They have got the skin on them and everything. And it's very large space too. Of course, I found a little corner to go to go hide in because that's what I'm going to do. But the walls in spots are they're cracked or they're peeling or they've been kind of hammered away, and you see this black shiny sparkly material like sticking out, and I couldn't figure out what it was, so I asked a team member, or excuse me, I asked one of the familiars what it was, and she said it was because this was all part of the catacombs at one point, and there was great fire. There were great fires and great fires, and then the creatures escaping and stuff. But anyway, it's long story short, it's like charcoal. It's from the burning of the
Oh,
wood, and
okay.
then the weight of the. Oh my gosh, that story! You know what I mean? They didn't have to do that. They could have just done it like the big castle stone stuff, and it would have been fine. But no, they got to take it to that next level.
Hmm.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It
All
seems
right,
like
so
yeah. Go ahead.
I've got an important question
Yes,
for me personally.
I'm listening
What's the
closely.
freestyle machine situation like? And also, do they have new cups for Epic?
They do have new cups for Epic, and I should have gotten one, but since I was by myself and I just had my little, my little 1913 backpack or whatever it is,
Yeah.
I didn't want to carry it. But they do, and it's the logo that you would expect, the Epic logo. So they do have them, and I did pay attention to the freestyle machines because I should have brought it in here. I have this little tiny stainless steel water bottle, and that's what I carry. I don't carry the giant ones because I don't want to carry it heavy. It's too heavy. I want it small. I want to be able to refill it frequently.
Hmm.
They had from the areas that I was in, the two areas that I was in, there were a lot of freestyle machines. They were lots. In Das Steakhouse, there was a bank of, I think, I'm going to say four. I have a picture of it. I don't think it was just three. I think it was four. It might have been five, but there was adequate amounts of them. So, and there are bottle fillers all around. You see even in the queue for Frankenstein Experiment, and I saw it in the queue for Curse of the Werewolf as well. So again, I'm going to assume that that's probably the case throughout the worlds. That for Monsters Unchained, there's fans and stuff, so it's covered and there's fans, and yeah. So
They
yeah,
really thought
between
about
that and the
us.
water, the fillers, they have the traditional fountain that you can push the button and put your
Hmm.
face down there, but it's like one unit, and then they have the bottle filler, and it's the kind where you just put your hand under it and it senses it and it just starts spitting out water.
Noah's gonna be so excited.
Yeah, st- I mean, it's fine, and I use that too, but I like the freestyle machine water better.
Me
One,
too.
because you can get ice, and two, because it's triple filtered because Coca Cola
Yeah.
requires that for
Mhm.
it coming out of
Yeah.
their machine. So, yeah.
Nice. So all right. So by this time it's nighttime, right? Like it's
Sure,
Yeah.
or going on nighttime.
yeah, going on nighttime. So and I just looked at your photos. Like the park looks amazing at night.
Beautiful,
It looks
it's stunning.
incredible. So what's that like? So now you're coming out of Dark Universe. Like obviously you're heading towards the front of the park. But like, what does Celestial Park look like at night? Or was that not the most impressive? Was obviously I would imagine Dark Universe at night is the
Dark
best.
Universe at night was really cool because they have the lighting package that they have in there. It's just a different experience around the well and everything. And fun story, I did not see the Burning Blade Tavern on fire at night. I missed it. But I'll be back. So, and I didn't bother with it during the day because where the sun was, it was like behind it. I'm like, that's not going to be a good picture anyway, so I don't care. Um, so when I left, it was probably about 9:30 because I think I waited and it said 60 minutes for Curse of the Werewolf. It was 20. was like 22, I think, by the time I got off. Wicked short ride. And I didn't rush out because I want to get those pictures with not a lot of people in them. But as I walked out into Celestial Park, it was I am not going to use the word that just popped into my head, but it was it's an M word. It's not going to happen. Um, it was almost dreamy. The way they have the lighting and the way they still have there's they don't just have music playing when you walk around. They don't just have like it's not noise. It's like your when you watch a movie and you don't necessarily pick up on the music, but if they were to remove it, you would notice type thing.
Yeah.
It's like that. So I noticed in a lot of my videos, you can hear it sounds like it's something that you would lay over a video, but it's just there. And what prompted me to stop and do that little stupid, when I was leaving the park thing, and I was like, I just wanted to, talk about it for a second, was when I walked past a Starbucks thing, like I want to say kiosk, but it was a large. It's not the one that is at the front of the park. This one was kind of more down by the carousel, and I wasn't even that close to it, but I walked past it and I got this like wave of coffee smell, and I was just like, there's so many layers here. They're not even open and I can smell it. And then you'd walk a little further and they've got all kinds of flowers, the fragrant flowers. And one thing that's the water doesn't have that highly treated water smell. You know what I mean? It's so that I was, that's cool. But just the sounds of it, I had to stop. I just and take it in. And I went up by the Super Nintendo world. Just it's like the lights and everything. It just kind of calls to you. It's like hang out, meander, enjoy it. I felt no need to rush out. I'm so glad that I didn't, and I'm so glad that I wasn't with like little kids or whatever. And sometimes it's just when you're done, you're done. You guys, you know that. Um, it's just lovely.
So
So
I saw something. I don't know if you've noticed this, like when you were walking out at night. I saw it on social media. So each portal has like a bright light,
yep,
like one of those like I don't know, what do you call it? Like a studio light type thing,
yeah,
right? Like that shines up into the
yeah,
air.
like the beam.
I heard, yeah, the beams,
Mhm.
yes, the beams of light. I heard that all the lands and the Chronos all meet in the middle of the park.
They do.
Did you experience this?
I uploaded some pictures of it. It's
Okay, I'm
kind
gonna
of
have
it
to.
doesn't trans or video. I think it looks better in the video that I uploaded.
Okay, I'm gonna
It
take a look at it. This is what I heard, and I saw it on social media. I'm like, that is really cool and really well thought out.
It's super cool. Each world has its own color, so it's not even like 5 white beams, like Dark Universe is purple. There's a purple, a white, a green, maybe yellow. I think it it doesn't read right in the pictures and in the video, but to stand there and watch it, it's really it's stinking
Yeah,
cool. Stink,
yeah, it's
yeah,
very cool.
very
It's a
cool.
very cool thing that once again they did not have to do,
Yep,
right? Like
yep,
it's everything is, and it seems like that's what everybody's saying, right? They didn't have to go this hard on everything.
yep.
Like they could, and they just didn't cut any corners, and not even cut corners. Like they went way over what they needed to do, and obviously people are loving it. I did see another person go into Pizza Moon, and I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys seen videos inside Pizza Moon.
Yeah,
I don't know if you poked your head in there.
I didn't.
It is insane
Yeah,
inside. So there's like goddesses floating with like pepperonis, and like there's like it's wild in there.
yeah,
There's
that
so much like, kinetic energy,
yeah.
just like animatronics inside the pizza
That giant
restaurant.
oven that's in there. I've seen a picture of that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy to me. Like they did not have to go that
No.
hard on a pizza place. The
No,
pizza does look great. too.
This
So
place is like it's all storytelling. I mean, storytelling to the nth degree. Like those beams and everything. There's a story behind that. Like how the Chronos powers it, and they converge, and that's why we can go to these different worlds and all this stuff. It's crazy. It's I'm there for it. I love it.
that's great. So overall, now obviously the expectations were super high. I'm assuming they met your expectations. Like, so Dark Universe seems like it passed your expectations.
It did. I can't wait to go back. I want to take everybody by the hand and go in there and be like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
You can take
what's
me by the hand. I'll go.
yeah. It
what's
was
the next land that you want to? What's the next land that you want to check out? Like, what is your like? Is it Ministry of Magic or are you
probably, yeah,
Power?
probably because I think that when I was originally thinking that I would at least pop my head into 4 of the 5, I really want to go to Isleberg, but I promise I know I was going to ride Monsters Unchained, so I'm like, well, I got to give them something. So, yeah, there's no way I was not going to ride that unless it
Oh,
was
he would
down.
have been so sad.
Oh, so yeah, probably Ministry of Magic. I'm thinking, yeah, I don't really care about Super Nintendo World that much, even though I grew up playing those games and stuff.
Yeah.
I think yeah, I don't know. It's going to be like a sensory experience. We'll have to see. It's not that I don't want to, but I'm not like, oh, I got to go there next. So yeah, probably Wizarding World. So
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I
Okay.
did ride Stardust Racers.
Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna bring it up. That
All
was the
right.
one I
Yeah.
was like, no, there's one more
Just
thing before we wrap this up.
So
I didn't
so
know that.
yeah,
We went through Celestial Park, and I was like, oh, let me like. I guess she didn't ride that because
I
we didn't
did.
mention it.
Yeah, well, because
Okay.
but the thing is
At
what
night.
happened was it got to be about 7 o'clock, and
Okay.
I was just kind of looking at because I tried to like go in and out of the app and just work with it because it's a new park to get used to and get used to, you know, when you look at the wait times. I like to filter them. I like to make them by their distance to me, and I like the list as opposed to the other or whatever. So I was kind of practicing doing that, and I would just look through to see what was going on. If anything was down too, I wanted to see if anything went down during the day or stayed down or whatever. Um, and I noticed I had like a 20-minute wait, and it was a little after 7. I'm like, you know what? That's fine because I want to get some pictures at Dark Universe once it started to get dark. So I'm like, I'm going to kind of run over there, and it's kind of say if Dark Universe is at the 11 o'clock point, then Stardust Racers is at about like 1 o'clock. So it's on the other side.
Okay.
You go straight across, kind of in front of Helios Grand. And then it was down. I actually had planned on riding both yellow and green tracks because I wanted to compare them. But I got right up into the thing, like they put you behind the gate and you're the next one to get on. And then they had a problem. So, and it had to wait and had to wait and had to wait. So I ended up only riding the one because I didn't want to, it was 10 after 8, I think, once I got done with that. And I'm like, I need to go back over to Dark Universe. I need to go back home. So I did not know this, and this might be a useful tip for everyone out there. I know that I'll be telling people about it. Green line was like way longer than yellow, and they make you take everything and put it in the locker. Of course, everything. Like, yeah, I got wand. I'm the most magical person there, I think, because I get that wand so much. If you're going through a metal detector, I'm going to set it off, so they have to get the wand out. But I took my glasses off because they're like, my glasses are a little bit loose, and I thought, I need them for distances. Or I'm like, I'm just going to put them in the locker. I don't need them. Well, somehow I missed the split where you can choose between green and yellow. I thought it was further up. I wasn't paying attention. And I kept seeing all these people going past me, like in the next, the switchback. And then I heard somebody behind me say, oh, we should have gotten that line. And then I saw them go under and go around. And then somebody else was like, what are they doing? They're like, oh, they're jumping into the yellow line. It was way, way, way shorter. So I know there's been a lot of talk out there about green being the more intense one. And that's the one I ended up on because that's just the one I ended up in that line. But anyway, so if I had gone in the yellow, I probably would have gotten through before they went down for a little while. So whatever. So it is Stardust Racer. The queue is not as highly themed as I think a lot of people would want it to be. Now the backstory on it is it's kind of like a subway station. It's the transportation center, and the what are they called? The Celestials or whatever, the people that live in Celestial Park, that's how they get around. So they're getting away with having it not very highly themed. But the trains for the coaster, I don't know if you've seen them up close. Have you seen the seats or anything? They're beautiful. They give like this just plush, not plush as in, I think plush, I think stuffed animals might, but like this leather look and very kind of steampunk. Very, very beautiful. Like yeah, just really nice. You're like, ooh, that looks like a comfortable chair. Very, very nice. Yeah, I laughed my butt off through the whole thing because I was so pleasantly surprised. It was great. I loved it. I would go on it again in a heartbeat. And I love Velocicoaster. It is my favorite coaster. But I got off of that one thinking, uh oh, I need to get over to Islands and ride Velocicoaster because I need like I need to compare this, like ride this one and then go ride this because it was really, really good.
We have been talking about this for weeks now,
I
where we see
know.
people on social media saying how much like they're full on saying just Stardust Racers is better than Velocicoaster. So, and we were like, how is that even possible? Like, we're not like, and this was like definitive, like, hey, this is better. But
Mm.
like, it's nice to hear your point of view because I could trust you because sometimes because social media sometimes you don't know if they were recording during like a media preview and they were just like high on life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just how it is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and I heard somebody talking about it and saying they just prefer Stardust Racers because they like the theming compared to they don't like dinosaurs. So they're not into that whole which I mean
What kind of person doesn't like
if
dinosaurs?
that's I get that. I mean, but you're talking about the engineering of the coaster, the actual ride experience of the
Hmm.
movement of the coaster. It was really stinking good. And of course, I'm an old lady and I remember and have ridden Dueling Dragons
so have I.
and I have
I was on
missed it.
Dragons as well,
So
and
having
I
the
love
dueling aspect and it just
Did it
made me
feel
so
like it?
happy. Hmm?
Did it feel like Dueling Dragons in a
No, I
way?
mean, I don't.
it
I
was an
mean,
inverted coaster as well. Like so, you were dangling on Dueling Dragons, right?
yeah,
Oh,
Like it was a completely different feel, and that was kind of
okay.
weird. Like when you were like intertwining on Dueling Dragons, like it felt like you could just reach out and like grab the other
it does
car.
on this
Like
one too.
yeah, so like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. But yeah, it was definitely a different style of coaster.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would agree with
oh,
that
Dueling
definitely.
Dragons was great.
Yeah,
I loved that ride.
yeah, me
That
too.
was such a good ride.
Great queue
Yeah, and
too. The queue is awesome.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it was
so I would have liked to have ridden both of them back to back, the green and the yellow, just to see, because we have an agent in the agency that rode yellow and thought that that was going to kill her, and green wasn't as bad, and that's kind of the opposite of what I'm hearing overall. But
Hmm.
I think it's just what your own body can tolerate, and so it's subjective. But I will tell you, from somebody who likes roller coasters, it was a wonderful ride. If you like
that's
coasters,
great.
go do it. One really good thing that came out of the delay was that it was twilight but when we finally boarded. So it was the lighting package on the cars and it was a little bit darker out there, so the lights were coming up in Celestial Park. So you see that and it was really cool. So I wouldn't
You got
say
to know at
don't
the
ride it during the
time.
day. I think it would be absolutely ride it. But if you can, ride it at night as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds
It
like
is a worthy adversary to the Velocicoaster, at least at this point, as far as I'm
I'll believe
concerned.
I'll believe you, but I do need to ride both sides and see
Absolutely.
how.
Yep.
But
And then go back to Velocicoaster. Me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Velocicoaster. I laughed so hard on
Yeah.
that ride. I thought I
Yeah.
was gonna die the whole
Well,
time. It was
well
great. It was so much fun.
so with Velocicoaster, when that launch, it's a launch coaster as well. Now, Velocicoaster is an Intamin coaster. This, I think, is it a mock coaster? It doesn't matter. So with Velocicoaster, you're at a standstill and you're kind of and then it's like boom, launch, right? When oh no, the Raptors are out, go, gotta go. This one, you leave the train station and you go out and around, and then when you come back, that you're already moving when the launch kicks in, and it's just nuts. It's
Hmm.
great. I loved it. I loved it.
That's great. That's great. So
Is it as long as the
It's
Velocicoaster?
a really long ride. I would have to see the actual numbers, but I was surprised and pleased by how long of a ride it was. And oh, you know what? Yes, I can absolutely say that yes, it is longer because I do know that Universal has said that this was the longest coaster they have ever manufactured or had
Okay.
manufactured for them.
all right, nice.
Yeah, it was
All right,
great.
so that sounds like a great day. It
It was
sounds
great.
amazing.
It was great. It
Uh,
was cool. It was awesome. No,
yeah,
it was a different experience. It's an evolution. And I've when everybody first went to Islands of Adventure in what 98, 99, um they felt like it was entirely different from the studios, and now we're kind of lumping Islands and the studios together and saying that Epic is entirely different. So I just think it's just the next one.
that's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming
I,
on
I
tonight.
wish I
Because
had more I could tell you, but
we've been talking for like an hour just on two worlds. So we would have had to
that's
make
how
it
my
two
day
episodes
went,
in
guys.
between. Yeah. So
I can definitively say, and I would recommend to anybody going, this is absolutely not a one-day park unless you are going to go VIP or express. And even with that, you're still not going to be able to touch everything. And I wholeheartedly believe from what little experience I've had so far that you want to be able to have that time to
Hmm.
to enjoy it. This is it's just different. It's just very, very different.
yeah, it seems like to take in all the details and stuff, you're gonna need more than one
And
day.
really enjoy it. You don't want to rush from one thing to the next to the next. You're going to miss all the story in between.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I can't wait to get down there because it
I'm so
seems like it's
excited.
next level and it's awesome. So,
Yeah.
if you guys don't have anything else, I will wrap this up. All good. All right.
I would just talk all night, so I'm just
Sounds good. All right. So, like, follow, and subscribe to the University Epic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Leave us a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, join the University Epic Podcast community on Facebook. This episode has been brought to you by the Magic of West Travel. If you have any Universal Orlando trip planning questions or would like to book your next trip, email us at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com, and also listen to Holli's podcast, Unlocking Universal, on Apple Podcasts. And like always, have an epic week, everybody.
that is brilliant. Oh, even the outside portion of the queue for Frankenstein. There's a for your reel at the end.
Well, it's like a 30-second delay.
And I'm gonna read the intro, and then it's gonna go downhill from there. So let's.
As long as we're all good with that.